We begin with some overnight news. Things should be back to normal now on I25 near the St. Francis interchange in Santa Fe. This after a wrong-way driver triggered a three-car collision. Police suspect alcohol is involved here. The crash happened around 8:30 last night. According to the New Mexican, the wrong-way driver had to be extradited from his vehicle. 4 other people were taken to the hospital, one in critical and one in serious condition. I-25 was closed at St. Francis Drive. Northbound traffic was diverted into Old Pecos while officers investigated. The DWI vehicle forfeiture law in Albuquerque is now being challenged in a class action lawsuit.
The city is seizing vehicles from owners who are in many cases innocent. They haven't been convicted, even arrested, or they weren't even driving the vehicles that were seized.
Justine Fox Young filed the suit on behalf of 7 people who all had to pay to get their cars back after somebody else drove drunk in their car without their knowledge. The lawsuit claims the city ordinance violates the innocent owner of a vehicle. Now, city attorneys say that the law does let innocent owners get their cars back, but says some of them aren't as innocent as they claim.
People have a duty to exercise some management over their property and make sure that somebody else that may perhaps be impaired is not using your car.
Albuquerque seizes vehicles from convicted drunk drivers busted for DWI again, or people who are caught driving on a revoked license.
A fire devastates a historic building in downtown Albuquerque, leaving the place where so many young dancers learn to let their feet fly, a smoking pile of rubble this morning.
There goes part of history.
Well, the building here on Gold near 2nd Street has been home to the National Flamenco Institute for 15 years. Crowds gathered to watch the flames that started about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Firefighters responded within minutes, but really was no use. The building was already engulfed, so crews went defensive to keep that fire from spreading. The Institute's director and about 10 other people were inside when this massive fire started. They were able to get out okay.
By the time we just stepped outside and looked, the roof was on fire. Quite advanced fire, so it probably had been burning for a little while.
The fire destroyed the Flamenco Institute, but the director vows to rebuild it. Investigators are still trying to figure out what started that fire. 2nd and Gold, that intersection in downtown, is still closed this morning. And that was the first big fire downtown in Albuquerque in 5 years. Remember back in 2008, oil-soaked rags caught fire here at the Golden West Saloon near Central and 7th, destroying the watering hole that had been there for 80 years. It also did some damage to El Rey and the launch pad.
Some aging main streets across the state are getting money for a facelift. We're talking $120,000 in grant money from PNM. The projects range from restoring historic theaters to renovating bridges. Deming, Las Vegas, Silver City, Belen, Clayton, Corrales, and Albuquerque all stand to benefit. Streetlights along Central Avenue in downtown Albuquerque will be upgraded with LED lights. Nob Hill will get some attention too.
It takes more than the state to have a successful Main Street program. Private sector partnerships, like PNM's commitment here today, are vital.
The governor says upgrades will also put people to work.
Well, Bernalillo County's investment officer and former treasurer in the White House spotlight once again today about some questionable investment. Patrick Padilla is set to explain his investment strategy, respond to criticism against it, and expand on the state auditor's findings on the county's ongoing investigation mess. This will be going on at 10 downtown this morning. Current treasurer Manny Ortiz has already lost $750,000 of taxpayer dollars in the investments that didn't pan out. Financial experts say Padilla's investment strategy involves step bonds, and that in and of itself is another gamble. Well, at 5:05, here's another wake-up call for you this morning. 6 days until Christmas, and while many of us are thinking about, the new iPhone, iPad, tablet, maybe a ski trip for the holidays, there are a lot of school kids in Albuquerque that need simply the basics. I mean, we're talking socks, underwear, and shoes here.
Yeah, hundreds of students.
Thousands.
In fact, yeah. This morning, the Albuquerque Public School District's Community Clothing Bank is trying to do something about that need, but they need your help. News 13 Samantha McDonald is live in the parking lots of APS's City Center, where people can go and drop off clothing items this morning. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Elizabeth. Well, the undergarment drive has just started. People can drive by, drop off their items in this barrel. They're asking for socks, boxers, sports bras, camisoles, all new items like that. And thousands of students are going to benefit from this. And this is the first time the EPS community has had an undergarment drive like this. Items like underwear and socks are often overlooked compared to outer clothing. Now, in the past, 3,000 students have gotten clothes. This year, though, APS says more than 60,000 students qualify for free or reduced lunch, so they expect lots of them will benefit from today's drive. Students won't get this stuff until after the new year, though. Educators say having proper clothes helps both the students' sense of security and with academics.
They can focus better if they're not worried about having things to wear, or if they have clean new things. They can really focus on their learning a lot better if they're not worried about not having appropriate clothing.
People can come down to this undergarment drive until 8 a.m. this morning. The goal is to fill up this big truck. Back to you.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of folks can head on out there this morning again until 8 o'clock. Thank you so much, Sam. You can also send monetary donations to buy shoes for the kids. The address that APS wants you to send that money is P.O. Box 25740, Albuquerque, New Mexico, the zip 87125. You know, a lot of times we just kind of forget about the basic needs, the undergarments and stuff. We always give coats and other type of clothing, so they're definitely important.
What they're trying to do here.